Hello everyone, back tuning in to today's video. Going to have a look at the weather next week to 10 days. In today's video, this will take us into the second half of April. We go to the 20th of the month with this update. So, we've had a very warm weekend, of course. Yesterday, temperatures in one or two places in London reached 25 degrees, 77 Fahrenheit, I think, breaking date records. Temperatures are cooler now, and the coming week to 10 days looks like it's going to be a cooler period. So, no sign that we're going to go back to that very unusual warmth that we had over the weekend. But still a lot of dry weather coming up. We have had a very prolonged dry spell down in the south and the southeast over several months, and there's no sign of that breaking in the next week to 10 days either. So still dry, a lot of high pressure influences. The only difference is that temperatures are going to be closer to average and a little bit cooler. I'll show you the detail in a second. Before I go on with that, just say about competition, because yesterday we launched the competition at Gazweather in association with metcheck.co.uk weather instrumentation. I'm on the homepage of Metcheck right now. This is it. So if you've got any weather-related items that you want to buy, just go to metcheck.co.uk. You get to the link to it at Gazweather's linked page. Go to metcheck.co.uk and buy whatever items you want. They do thermometers, barometers, anemometers, all of those weather-related items you can buy at metcheck.co.uk. But the item we're giving away is the Climate Night Fishing Moon Phase Clock. This clock covers the full phase of the moon from the new moon through to the full moon and back once again. And this is important for night fishing. I think the idea is that certain fish bite at certain times of the lunar cycle. So if you go night fishing, it's an important item that can help you with your fishing endeavours. There's also a theory that the weather can change with the moon. So, don't know much about that, but if you get this item and you notice as the lunar cycle is changing, that also that the weather is changing with it, do let me know and see what you observe with that. So to win this item, all you have to do, it's a prize draw, all you have to do is email your name and address to gazweathers@gmail.com, and that's it. You'll go into the prize draw, and on Sunday, Easter Sunday, we're going to draw one name out at random. The name we draw out will be the winner of our prize draw. This clock is worth £39.50. That's a headline number, but it can also be personalised. If you have it personalised, it's worth £50. So it's a fantastic prize, and you have any name on it that you want. So you can have your own name, you can have somebody else's name, a house name, whatever name you would like can be engraved into your clock. And of course, if you don't want it for yourself, you can get it for somebody else, have their name engraved on it. So in theory, this could work as a birthday present. It could even work, dare I say it, as an early Christmas present, courtesy of Gazweather. It's all free of charge. So if you want to win this, just email your name and address to gazweathers@gmail.com. You're going to the prize draw, and on Easter Sunday, one person is going to be winning this prize. Good luck to everybody for entering. The response so far, I can tell you, the response so far has been absolutely phenomenal. So good luck to everybody that's entered so far, and of course you've still got plenty of time to enter the prize draw. Right, let's get on with the video then, and we're going to start off Central England temperature. So we're currently standing, and it's probably about as high as we're going to get now, I think, currently standing at 9.9 degrees, which is an anomaly of nearly 3.5 degrees above average, provisional to yesterday up to the night. So that takes into account the very warm weather that we had over the weekend. As I say, I think this is about as high as we're going to get now, because we are going into, or we're already into, a cooler and fresher pattern, and that cooler pattern is going to take us through the next few days, albeit not really seeing much sign of anything overly cold for the time being. Models keep flirting with the idea that it might get quite a cold spell over Easter, but whether that actually comes off, I'm not sure. But it's going to be cooler, not seeing anything too cold in the near future. It might turn a bit colder in the second half of the month. These are 500 millibar high anomaly flow charts for the next week to 10 days. We've got the E70UF here on the top. The GFS, which I'll look at in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet is an area in the atmosphere where high pressure, low pressure being moved around by a jet stream running above. Blue extrapolates low pressure, red and orange high pressure. So we see that for the next week to 10 days, which takes us to the 20th of April, we've got a trough out to the north and the east of the UK, the E70UF, a ridge is through the middle of the Atlantic, which means that the flow is going like that. So we're on a northwest-southeast trajectory with the flow and the jet stream. So that's going to be pulling down quite cool air from the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean. And this trough could be producing some unsettled weather to the northeast of the country, but we're still blocking off the Atlantic with this ridge, so it's not a truly unsettled pattern. It's just gently unsettled, probably, especially for the north, and quite cool. The GFS is very similar. That trough is further away from us. It's more towards northeastern parts of Europe, but it's still the same idea, but we've got the ridge to the west, also some heights to the south of us. The flow's trying to go northwest-southeast, but with the GFS, it's actually a slightly more westerly component, which means it isn't quite as chilly as the E70UF is doing. Nevertheless, it is cooler compared to that very warm weather that we had over the weekend. There's still a lot of dry conditions, really, with high pressure never too far away. These are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles next 2 weeks. Precipitation, first of all, the red line here is a 30-year temperature average. So a bit up and down with the temperatures over the next few days. We're in a cooler phase at the moment, a little bit milder there, then cooler again there. That's a slightly zonal sine wave. Overall, we are going to be cooler, I think, over the next week to 10 days, especially as we get towards the Easter period and then on into next week. Precipitation still shows a lot of dry weather, so for the rest of this week up to the weekend, hardly any rainfall spikes. We do get a few rainfall spikes coming up over the weekend, but nothing really definitive. You have to wait until going towards the end of the month, really, this period just here, where it looks like the rainfall spikes are coming back a little bit, but that's a really long way off, especially in this consistent dry pattern. So I suggest overall it's looking very dry, just with cooler temperatures over the next few days. Temperature anomalies are coming out cooler than average for the next week. This takes us from the 10th through to the 18th of April. Slightly cooler than average. Most parts of Europe coming out colder than average as well. Spain and Portugal doing better there. Above average temperature anomalies. So after Spain or Portugal for Easter, I think it's going to be quite nice. Precipitation anomalies still again coming out drier than average through most parts of not just the UK, but many parts of Europe as well, particularly Western Europe. It is wetter over towards the east and the northeast of Europe, but for the UK, from the 10th to the 18th of April, we're coming out cooler than average and drier than average in the week ahead. So this is how the GFS sees things for a Good Friday then. We've got a bit of a ridge down to south, but low pressure is up to the north, maybe bringing some showery rain to Scotland for a Good Friday. Into Saturday, trying to get the wind into the north and pull these heights out to the west. But actually, unlike what we see, unlike what we've been seeing over the past few days when we've been doing Easter updates, the northerly wind is now pushing down into Scandinavia, going into that sort of area there, which leaves us close to this ridge just here. So that northerly that we were seeing on the Easter updates on both Saturday and on Sunday, I've always been a bit dubious about it. Thought it looked a bit over the top. That northerly is now being shunted over towards Scandinavia for Easter. So hopefully we're not going to have anything too cold over East. So it will be chilly under this ridge, particularly so at night with the risk of some frost. But the worst of that northerly is being pushed onto the other side of the North Sea at the moment with the GFS. So we keep this high pressure, this ridge going into Bank Holiday Monday. That looks quite decent. Would be a lot of useful weather with that. Again, it's not a heat wave. The temperatures will be quite chilly, particularly at night. But a reasonable amount of dry weather and not too bad at all over Easter is the latest idea from the GFS. Into the middle part of next week, and then it's turning more unsettled. Heights are pulling out to the northwest. pulling in the winds from the north. There's low pressure down to the southeast, could be producing some rain as well. And up to day 10 and beyond day 10, looks like we keep things pretty chilly with the wind in from the north. That'll be producing quite a few showers up to day 10, which is Thursday 20th of April. A little bit dubious about that because, of course, a couple of days ago we were supposed to have a big northerly over Easter. That's being shunted off to Scandinavia, and now the GFS wants to produce this northerly later next week. So the northerly is being put back. It'll be interesting to see whether we actually get there. But even if we don't get the direct hit from the north, it is going to be certainly a cooler period over the next week to 10 days compared to what we've had in April so far. Eastern US looking like this. So Good Friday has a bit of a ridge down across the south. Further north, it looks a bit showery. Into the weekend, that looks quite unsettled. But Saturday could be producing some showery rain, especially in the north. Into Easter Sunday and Easter Monday, chilly winds from the north and the northwest. So the Eastern US looks a little bit more unsettled and cooler for Easter compared to the GFS. And then through next week, we find again low pressure developing over the country. The heights are pulling out to the north and west, meaning we bring in this northeasterly wind, and it looks quite unsettled there into the second half of next week. That is day 10, Thursday 20th of April, where we've got this ridge sitting out to the northwest of the country. The trough is over to the east, and we're bringing down that northeasterly wind, which would be cool and would be quite showery as well. Whether that actually comes off, we'll have to wait and see. I think what we can say is that we probably had the warmest phase of the month in terms of the central temperature anyway, because I think that'll be tickling down over the next few days. Of course, we may later on in the month get another burst of quite warm, maybe even hot weather. Further on into April you go, statistically it gets more likely to become very warm. So we may get more very warm weather, but I'm not sure we'll get the mean temperature up to the level that it is right now. The coming week to 10 days, a lot of dry weather coming up, particularly for the south. Maybe a little bit more showery later. And in terms of temperatures, looks like we're going to be close to average, maybe even a little bit on the cooler side at times. Right, don't forget to enter the competition if you haven't done so already. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching.